has three bed. Okay.
Should have been recording
Mine.
this whole time.
Oh yeah, no, it's good. Well, it's not gonna change, right? Because this skill, if you guys can develop this comping skill, you guys are ahead of the curve of like 200 agents in my office.
It's invaluable, guys, and this is how you gain investors that will work with you for a lifetime because you bring them good numbers, you bring them good deals. We hate looking through crappy deals, and we have to do it all the time. It just makes you not want to open the email. But if you have a superstar like Javier sending you something, most likely the numbers are on point. And that excites investors. Like, this is something I can actually buy.
Exactly. And these videos, like, don't be afraid to share these with your PMLs and stuff like that. Like
Mhm.
these videos that we're recording, like everything that Stacey and Giles doing, like I salute you guys because
Thank you, Javier.
they have that vision that we can't see, right? But investors want this because if you know how to comp the numbers and you know exactly how to pull the trigger when when something's a deal, you know, like there's no you've already gained the credibility.
Just for the sake of just pressing the record button, I just want to do a quick recap. We found a cookie cutter townhome in Springfield, Virginia. There are 3 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, 2 half bathrooms, 2 levels on top, and an unfinished basement. And this is an inner unit, correct?
Yes.
Built in 1982. So right now, Javier has narrowed it down on Redfin to 6 months out townhomes, and now he's narrowing it down to closed and sold, and the bedrooms and bathroom count.
Yep. So we pulled data from Redfin, and Redfin told us that we had 4 bathrooms. And then we pulled Zillow data, and Zillow told us that we had 2.5 baths. So we confirmed that there's 2.5 baths. Um, and also we confirmed by using both data, Redfin and Zillow, that we confirmed that there's 589 square feet below ground in the basement that's unfinished. And we have 589 on the first level and 589 on the second level. So now we know exactly the square footage
Yes.
and the type of house. So let's go back. So we typed in the zip code in Redfin in this box right here, and we got the entire zip code. However, the subject property was in this little niche right here in Newington Forest area. So we want to grab all the data points in this subdivision. So there's a creek right here, and we're not passing the creek because these are probably bigger houses. And over here, these are much more luxury. I can tell because of the streets.
Absolutely.
And now we use this draw thumb figure to draw exactly the area that we want to comp this deal. So for this property, 8573 Chester Grove Court, 3 bedrooms, 2.2 baths, 1178 square feet. So right now we're having 6 months of data because we only have so many houses that got sold. And we have townhouse. Sorry, let me click it again. Townhouse. Now it's selected. And then now we're going to do bedrooms. Bedrooms, I'm going to do 3 to 4. 5 is okay because with townhouses, you can only do so much, right? If it's a single family house, I would probably just do 3 bedrooms and 4 bedrooms. For bathrooms, remember we have 2.2. So I'm just going to start with 2. Because if I have a fully renovated 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom townhouse with the same square footage and it's sold at a higher price, I want to use that comp when the appraisal comes in for the end buyer. So I'm going to
And
do
it's
two
also very
bathrooms.
conservative because you already know you can get more with 2 additional bathrooms.
Correct. Then I just tell the appraiser, like, this one sold for 900. Like, why? What's up? We have 2 half bathrooms, you know? So I'm always going to do with the lowest potential for the bathrooms when I'm getting the comps. Okay. So I'm going to click done. And then this little secret, don't tell anybody about this secret. This is Javier's secret. I'm going to do price from high to low. And why am I
Do that
doing
on
it?
MLS. I didn't know you could do that on Redfin. That's awesome.
Oh, you can do it on the MLS too.
I know that's where I do it, but I didn't know you could do it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah, so I'm saving you guys years. Trust me, years. Um, so now we are at 3 bedrooms, minimum 2 bathrooms, townhouse, and the square footage. So the square footage, because Redfin's a little inconsistent with the data, remember? I'm gonna leave the square footage just the way it is. I can if I want, if I have more properties, I can add square footage down here. I can add the year of the house, basement, no basement, pool, property taxes. I can do a lot of stuff, but I don't want to because I only have 9 houses right now.
Right. That's
Okay.
really good because you're going to eliminate some of these anyway.
Yep. So the reason I do priced high to low is because now I can match apples to apples. I want to see how juicy my apple is. There's my apple. It's not so juicy, right? I can anyway, I can tell that there's yeah. Anyway, so it's not so juicy apple, so I need to compare that to a not so juicy comp that's sold, right? This let me you guys can remember what this looks like, right?
Yes.
Here, let's do this. Shift Command 4. Oh, I can't do that on Zoom. There it is. This is what it looks like. And now I'm gonna bring this over here. Okay. There is my not so juicy apple. Okay.
Something that you told us yesterday is standing out to me. I'm gonna wait till you get to that other one.
Okay. So now we know what our juicy apple looks like. Jesus Christ, hold on one second. There it is. Okay. We'll put this apple over here because we need that apple's data. There it is. I don't know why it's gray. Okay, anyway. Move the trash. Okay, let's continue. So now we know what our apple, juicy apple looks like, right? We can see the windows, we can see the door, we can see that there's this overhang right here. You see because of the gutter, there's an overhang. That means it's probably 2 feet out, right? And builders did that to get more square footage, right? So let's look at this. We're going back to our comps. This one sold for $725. It's 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, 70 square feet. So almost twice the size.
Yeah.
So I can't tell if it's this house or if it's that house. So let me just take a look at the pictures. Okay, there you go. So now I know it's this one. Does this juicy apple right here look like ours?
No.
Okay. All right, we'll ask again. The interior, the layout of this townhouse is nice, right? I can tell because as soon as you walk in, you have high ceilings. Do you think our juicy apple has high ceilings?
It doesn't look like it.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So that's not a good comp. Now we're gonna go down in price. Now let's take a look at this juicy apple.
Now that one is the one I see streaks on the roof. So it looks like it sold at 655, but they didn't get the roof done.
Correct. So this one sold at 655, and the roof, whenever you see the streaks on the roof like that, it's a clear indication that the architectural shingles are on the end of its life term. So under 5 years left.
They did a pretty good job on the interior.
Yeah. I can see they got ream. they got quality mechanicals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, sorry, I'm going too fast, but what I'm looking at is I
This
want to
one has a
see
garage.
the condition of this house because this is 3 bedrooms, very similar to ours, right? 3 bathrooms, very similar to ours because Redfin said we had 3 bathrooms, right? 1512 square feet, and ours was 1178.
Plus
But
the basement.
correct, exactly. Now we're talking. So if we add 589 times 3, our total square footage is how much?
I was at 16 something.
So 589 times 3, it's 1767.
1767.
Okay. So 1767, we're about 1,000 square feet off of this townhouse. And I can tell that this townhouses, you see how far apart the windows are? I can tell that the square footage was made up in the size of the townhouse. So townhouses, people will pay more money for a townhouse that is not so condensed. That's
Mhm.
what I'm trying to say. So
And
this,
this one has a garage.
yeah, this has a garage, correct? And it has a driveway, and it's got high ceilings. Everything looks nice. And so this is on the higher end.
Yes.
Remember, this is on the higher end.
Open
So
kitchen.
we
Mhm.
cannot sell our house higher than this price. Impossible.
Period.
So now let's go down in price. Now let's look at a 627. So these sold in the last couple weeks. And
This is kind of similar to me.
this apple already looks a lot juicier than this apple right here, right? Apples to apples. And this is 22, 30, 31. Look at this entrance. You walk in, the carpet needs to be replaced, no big deal, but it still has a very nice layout. This is kind of like the pad split in Baltimore.
Yeah, this one is better than ours.
You walk in, you take a step down into a common area, you have stairs going upstairs, and you have the kitchen in the back. So this layout is very functional. You guys see that?
Yeah.
You guys see how the windows are more luxury? They're
Looks a
they're
little wider too.
they're wider, there are more windows, so people will pay more money for
Mhm.
more windows and more juicy apple. But our apple is not so there, right? So we need to go down in price. 600, same thing. That's just another
Oh,
juicier apple.
yeah,
I can tell. Look at the finishes on it.
it's nice.
It's nice.
Similar, close to our square footage though, so we're getting closer.
Exactly. And this is why we do it from top to bottom. Well, this is why Javier does it from top to bottom. And so now I know that these two comps are on the higher end. This one for sure on the higher end. These are also on the higher end. So I need to go down in price,
Now
right?
these are looking a little bit more like what we we got
Now
going.
these are looking kind of like our juicy apple now, right? I'm trying to make this fun for everybody. So you see our juicy apple right here? This juicy apple right here? Very, very similar to this juicy apple right here, right? Apples to apples, same thing. Same thing here. Now let's look at the dimensions. 3 beds, 3.5 baths, 1680 square feet. Now we're speaking English, right? Now we're apples to apples. 3 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, 1358 square feet. Remember, we
Cam
don't
has
know.
his hand up.
Yep, we don't know if this 1358 is incorrect data, remember? And this
Right.
1400 incorrect data, so we don't know. But we do know that the bedrooms are somewhat the same. Now let's go down. Now
Cam,
these two,
Cam has a question.
yeah, go ahead.
Say, for example, you have the bedrooms and the baths that are the same, but the square feet is somewhat similar to the square foot, and
Yes.
the outside doesn't look anything like our juicy apple. Would you still consider that a comp?
So the
Or
curb,
some,
you're
yeah,
talking
the
about
curb appeal, yeah.
curb appeal. So a good example, you go to Trader Joe's and you see a apple that looks better than the other. Like which one will you pick?
The one that looks better, obviously.
or Safeway, Kroger, you know.
The one that looks better.
Right, right. So whatever is a juicier apple, people will pay more money. You see how these two are very similar? 535 and 585. Which one
Mhm.
looks like a juicier apple?
Just because they got the window, what are those called? The panels?
Shutters.
Yeah, the shutters, that made a difference. And then they painted the door.
They painted the door, right? So this one, they probably ran out of funds. That's why they just put mulch down there. They put the $2.87
Smart.
mulch from Home Depot, aisle 13.
So, so if the
Right.
price is higher, would that also be considered a juicier apple because the price is higher?
Correct. So we need to find out why this juicier apple.
Always for a reason.
Yeah, why are people paying 585 for this one and why are people paying 535 for this one? They're 2 weeks apart, right? Am I right or am I right?
Yeah.
You're right. No, I'm getting it now. Yeah.
Yeah, you see? They're 2 weeks apart.
Right, for the windows, for the window and the shutter?
Well, now
Probably the interior as well.
so remember what sells a house? Andy
Price and
Marcia, what
condition.
sells a house?
Well,
Marcia?
you see the 585, you see, because it's nice. Is
Right.
that what you're talking about?
Remember, there's two things that sell a house.
Condition, and there was one more.
What else?
The was it the style or the
Close.
I'm gonna give you guys a story.
The size, the measurements,
So if you see a BMW, that is,
bedroom, bathroom.
if you have a BMW that is a basic standard series for $4,000, and you have another BMW that has all of the newest features equipped with everything that it comes with, new rims, new tires for $4,000, which one are you gonna pick?
the features, the one with the newest features,
And why is that?
because I can do more
Right,
with it.
it's the same ideas. That's what I was talking about, the windows. The windows are very nice and they have
It's
the
the same
shutter.
price,
It's very,
but
very
you're
nice.
getting
So
more
that's
for the
why
same price.
585.
Oh, the price. Okay.
Price, guys. It's because it's the same price.
Can you hear the interpreter?
Yes, 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 yes. No, no. So two things sell a house. This is
Okay,
Javier.
because this house with the windows, the shutter, that looks so much better, and it looks very nice compared to the other house.
Correct. So now we're gonna look at the pictures. We're gonna look at the condition. Right? Because we haven't looked at the pictures really. These two are identical. You see how far apart they are? They're like they're literally like a 2.5 minute drive. The buyer for this one paid 585 and the buyer for this one paid 535. After 17 million in sales, I realized that price and condition sell a house. Very same footprint, maybe even the same builder or the builder's brother, right? Because it's in the same neighborhood, same zip code, sold 2 weeks apart, same bedroom, same square footage. Let's look at the condition now. This 585, why is this a juicier apple?
And I want to tell you too, Marcia, just because something is priced higher, if they offer
because-
more for that price, people want value.
the,
It's not about the lowest price.
It has more. It's just nicer inside. Inside of the house is just so much nicer.
Correct.
The interior.
You see,
The
this one had
interior is
staging.
so much nicer.
This one had staging. You see how this one had staging? See, this door is a very simple door. The trim is very basic trim. So my eyes see a little bit different, right? Now look at this one. See the kitchen? Remember the gold trim that I was telling you guys about? Here, let's click on it. That way we see better. Let's take a look at this juicy apple. So people are willing to pay $60,000 more because of the condition. Sorry, it's loading. Okay. So yeah, I mean, to answer everybody's question, the condition of the house, once you are comparing apples to apples, people will pay more money for the condition, right? And what are we doing? We're making it a better condition. We're gonna put recessed lights. We're gonna paint the walls. We're gonna rehab the, we're gonna rehab the kitchen. Look at this refrigerator. You see like matching appliances, higher end appliances. Look at this backsplash, Pentagon backsplash. Or hexagon, loctagon. I don't know. I didn't pass that grade. Look, we talked about this, right? We have that open kitchen concept. Vanity, nice mirror, nice toilet. These are like the $300 toilets. Take a look at this master. And it's carpet, right? Isn't this carpet? But the windows, you see how the windows, I think these are J. Weldon windows. And these windows are luxury windows. Carpet. The top floor is carpet. It's the basement. Condenser's new. See? I can tell the condenser got swapped out. That's a nice basement. That's a really nice basement. That's probably what sold this one. So now let's take a look at that other juicy apple. Let's take a look at this one. So 535. Nice kitchen too. Look at the countertops. Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
It hasn't even been upgraded. I mean, you can see some has been upgraded, but I'm not seeing too much of that.
Right. So that's why people will pay less. I mean, this bathroom right here. Look, don't get me
Those
wrong.
cabinets and countertops.
Right,
Oh
and
no.
it really just depends on the individual. It really depends on that. You know, some people really like the remodel, and then, you know, some other people just like it to be simple like that. It just really depends on the individual.
But the
So
price will be determined by the value that the buyer is perceiving that they're getting.
yep. So here, I can tell this HVAC system is the older unit. I can tell right there. Look at the countertops, no backsplash, right? The kitchen's, it's not a bad kitchen. Do not get me wrong. Not a bad kitchen.
Question for you, Javier, because I know the
Yes.
answer that I would say. Would you use this as a comp to be conservative?
Yes, both of these are comps.
Yes.
Both juicy apples are very similar to ours. Now, we have to buy ours at the condition that it is. We cannot
Yes.
pay $1 for it.
These
So
are comps for the after repair value. Worst case scenario, best case scenario. Never go in using the best case scenario, guys, because what if the interest rates go up? What if there's another house that looks better than yours that's listed at the same time or comes to market 2 days after you? There are so many variables and factors that you never want to use the highest comp out there. It's great to have a comp like this to show you, you know, what you can do and what you can get.
so this one has a deck.
Uh-oh.
You guys see that?
Nice.
This one has a deck. But take a look at the basement. You see this basement? They did like a kitchenette in the basement. Do you prefer this basement or the other juicy apple basement?
If I was an investor, I may prefer this one because I may be able to rent out the bottom level and house hack.
But most end buyers don't think like us.
Right. This may also
So,
be for someone who has their parents or somebody that has to live with them, you know, something like that. Like Marcia said, a very specific buyer.
yep. And that's kind of what we do, guys. When we're comping, is we need to get into the brains of the people that have the cash to buy. Cash is king. So if these people got approved for a loan, you know, they're gonna buy it. If they're buying it, I mean, stuff like this, very common to see people pay cash. Very common in our backyard to people. People are paying cash for $900,000 houses, and cash is king. So the buyer determines the price.
Also, guys, read the description sometimes to see what they renovated. Like Javier has an eye where he said this AC wasn't renovated or this roof wasn't done. But sometimes if you can't, you know, pick those things out at first, you can read the description. Some people are detailed, some people are not.
Yeah, and the description is what the agent, if it's on the market, the description is what the agent says. And you best believe I call agents out. I say you renovated top to bottom, like that hasn't got done, that hasn't got done, that hasn't got done. And that's how I'm able to negotiate with them.
Yeah. Miss Robin has a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Hello.
Miss Robin, you got to unmute. Hi, Shannon. Welcome to the call. I let you in, but I never said hi. Okay, I guess we'll come back to Miss Robin.
Hey there.
Hey.
How are you, Shannon?
Good. Just driving the next 5 hours. Enjoying
Wow.
the call.
Awesome. Awesome.
So,
What's next steps? Okay, let's use these two comps.
so these two are good comps. So between 535 and 585, I would say would be our ARV. But also, whenever you're calculating the RV, you need to know the potential of your contractors, because not all contractors are the same, and not all contractors have the vision that you have, right?
Not all are investor friendly, where they're going to actually help you increase the value but lower expenses, like Javier.
Like in this 535 one, I can tell that they put more money into the bathrooms. You see the bathrooms? They put more money into the bathrooms, right? And maybe that's what the owner wanted, right? But if the contractor said, like, are you looking, like, what do you want to do? Are you trying to do it as an investment? Because if you do it as an investment, if you put more money in the kitchen, you can get a higher return, right? You see how this kitchen has the gold trim? It has more recess lights, higher appliances.
It's super easy for people to go in and kind of upgrade their bathrooms and make it specific to them. But the kitchen is pretty a high ticket area and usually has more square footage.
And look at these bathrooms. Very basic bathrooms, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see these bedrooms? Carpet. But why did somebody pay 585? Like Jael was saying, your kitchen will always be the highest return on investment. Your bathrooms will be the next highest return on investment.
What about the roof?
Roof is a given. If your roof's not there, you might as well just eat away $20,000 when you're selling that.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's this other one where the roof wasn't completely done and it's sold lower than the other ones.
It could have got more. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they could have got like 20K more, but they don't want to put $5,000, get a new roof,
Roof,
and
yes.
they'll pay for it on the back end.
Cause that's a 30-year type of deal right there where someone's like brand new roof. I got time. You know, a lot of people who are traditional homeowners pay way more for a roof than they should.
Do you guys know why this one sold for 482? Does anyone have an idea why this one sold for 482?
Is it fake staging? No.
Well, not just that, it's mediocre end product.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No staging. No
Well,
staging.
Yeah, the staging will help sell the property, but at the end of the day, once they get to the property and there's no staging, what makes them decide? The
The
finished product, right?
types
The
of
bells and
renovation.
whistles,
The
Mhm.
condition.
heated seats, the heated steering wheel that Joe was talking about. The
Yeah.
bells and whistles is what sells a house. And the bells and whistles aren't here. The lighting is off. They rehabbed it. They rehabbed it all day long. They rehabbed it. Don't get me wrong, they rehabbed it. Did they pick the best carpet?
Oh,
No.
that's you raised your hand because you raised your hand.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
So what about the math, Javier? Do we want to show that them in a different segment? Because there's two ways to do the math for a flip, and then there's ways to do the math for the buy and hold investor. But I think we should use your rules of thumb for rehab costs.
Yep. So for this one, let's do the math real quick. So this subject property, the basement's unfinished, remember?
Yes.
So if we finish this basement, this is just Javier, I'm pretty confident that we can push 590. Yep, I'm pretty confident that we can push 590. This is 585. Yeah, if we finish the basement. So now, what Jael was talking about, we need to have our exit strategy, right?
But I will say conservative ARV is 560. For someone, if you get the wrong agent, all of that stuff, 535 plus 585 divided by 2.
Yeah, so correct. A very conservative ARV would be, between these two. You can't go wrong with 560. And even then, based on the interest rates in the markets, because the interest rates have been going up. In the last week, the interest rates have been going up. So right now we're at 7.25, let's check it. That way we're on the same page. It changes once a week, Thursday.
And it's been going up.
On May 2nd, 722. The week before that, 7.17. A month ago, 688, 682. So you guys see how the interest rates are going up? So now that gives me an indication that I shouldn't sell it for 560. I should sell it for 549.9.
Mhm.
Because if I sell it for 549.9, I'm catching all the buyers in the 500 to 550 range.
Mhm.
And they're going to see my property and they're going to be like, wow, that has a lot of bells and whistles. Nice and more square footage. I want it.
And he's going to get over asking.
Correct. And if I put it on the market for 551, we're already conservative that it's going to sell for 560.
Mhm.
But if I put it on the market for 550, 551, I'm getting the buyers, because everybody searches in 25K increments. I'm
Mhm.
getting the buyers from 500 to 570 or 550. Yeah, 550 to 575. And they're going to see my property and they're going to be like, I was walking bigger properties. This one does look nice, but it's missing a bedroom.
Mhm.
Right? So they may or may not try to bite at like 550 to 575, even though it's fully rehabbed. And pricing strategy is a whole different topic, a whole different, like month-long class about it. But that's just
Yeah.
the rule of thumb.
At your $65 a square foot, Javier, would the price at 380 work for reno and relist and close twice and financing?
So 1982, 589. Let's do the
'Cause
math.
even though it's an auction, guys, it still can be overpriced. Especially if you haven't got in there and there are no pictures of the condition, it usually needs everything.
So if I do the entire square footage and I do $50 a square feet, that's a comfortable margin. That's what my rehab budget's going to be. So my rehab is going to be 88K. So now I get the ARV. So let's say our ARV is 560. And I multiply $560,000. I multiply that by 94 cents. It's the 6% commission. I mean, the reason I use 6% commission is not because I want to get 6% commission, but because even if I put it on the market for 4.5%, I have enough margins to manipulate the price and still get what I want. So if I multiply $560,000 times 0.94, which is 94 cents, a 6% commission, I'm at 526,400. If I subtract 10K from that, that would be closing costs, transfer recordation, all this other stuff, inspection, blah, 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 whatever, right? Staging. So now I'm at 516,400, right? And then I got to subtract my rehab from there. If my rehab was $80,000, I'm at 436,400. That means being conservative with all my numbers, I'm breaking even at 436,400 if I put $80,000 into the house. And if I sell it for $560,000.
The other two things though that we have to account for is closing on it twice. So you would do close twice and the financing. So
Correct.
what percentage you have to pay to your lender?
So this is to break even,
Mhm.
right? This is on the out sale. We haven't even talked about acquiring the property yet.
Right.
So 436. So say I want 40%, or say I want 40K in profit, then I
Mhm.
subtract 40K. Now I'm at 396,400. Okay.
Mhm.
And then like Jael was saying, you got to acquire the property. So subtract another 10K just for closing costs and stuff like that. And the buyer pays double commission, but you know, all that other stuff, right? Buyer pays all closing costs. So now 386,400 is my price.
How many people think that the interest on their loan is going to cost more than $6,400? If you have to finance the whole thing plus renovation costs.
Yep.
So it's overpriced.
So 386,400 is a conservative number for you to purchase this property. So if you can get it below this, if you can, Jesus, it won't stop. if you can get it below this price, I'm just gonna ignore it. If you get it below this price, now you have margins to do a fix and flip. You have margins to put 80K into the property, and 80K is a good number. It's just a townhouse. It might only need like 40K. And now you have enough margins to sell it. And even if it doesn't sell at the price that you want, you can change the price to 550 or 549 and still make profit and still make money.
Okay,
But
that's good.
if you get it higher than this price, you're eating your profit.
Mhm.
And if you're eating your profit, you need to change your exit strategy.
Which means this may be like a buy and hold instead with the refinance and repeat type strategy.
So depending on the HOA, right? This HOA, I haven't even looked at it, but this may be like $200 every quarter that I have to pay. So depending on the HOA and the restrictions that they have, HOAs and COAs have their own guidelines for how they do it. Some HOAs are 3 members and some are like 12 people. You know, they have a staff and a business. And sometimes to even get them to approve a renovation is a process, you know, and then if you wanted to, you know, change the color of your deck, they have like bylaws that they have to go and account for.
Yes.
So a townhouse is a little bit easier to get the numbers and stuff like that, but for the renovation, it can be a little tricky sometimes.
This was awesome. Any questions, guys? Any comments? Thanks, Javier.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for joining
Thanks,
us.
Javier.
Yeah, any
Yeah,
takeaways?
this has been great. Yeah, I've learned so much stuff about this. I've enjoyed it.
Awesome.
So who wants a juicy apple?
I know I do. So I guess we'll find you some more in high turnover townhome communities for you guys to do some quick comping on. And then we'll go over the math more in depth maybe later in the week.
Yeah, the whole financing portion is a whole different, it's a whole different thing too.
Yeah.
Because once you get the ARV and once you get your construction budget,
Mhm.
now we have those two pieces and we need to put that into an algorithm. And, you know, that's a whole different underwriting thing.
That's why fix and flips are for people who do not do them or do not have contract construction experience, they can be really risky because there are a lot of different factors to consider when you purchase. And the market is shifting all the time, every
Yes.
day.
Every single day the market shifts. It's like a ocean. And all we're doing is just perfecting the way we ride that wave. That's it.
So what if we were to purchase this property today and we know the interest rate rises every single week and it took us 3 months to renovate it, and by the time we hit 3 months, we're at 9% interest rates? That would greatly affect our resale value. So that's why you should never buy them too tight, just in case. But if the interest rates go lower within that 3 months, then we may have a even larger spread. So that's something to think about.
Yep. And then so again, like if you don't sell at that certain price, you're eating up your profit. And you might have to restructure that debt. I don't want to lose anybody, but you have to restructure that debt that you have right now because right now you're paying a premium to borrow the funds.
Yes.
You're bringing a lot of cash to make a lot of cash, right? But if you're eating profits, you need to restructure that debt. So just so we're on the same page, if we do 386, 400, right? That's kind of like our safe number where we can make, 40K profit. If you divide that by the ARV, what was the ARV, guys?
560 conservatively. The Javier can push 590.
That's 69 cents to the dollar.
I love that. That's a great way to look at it.
You guys see that? So the easiest way to comp something, Redfin, Zillow, blah, blah, like use those as like primary and then get a ballpark of what you think that renovation is going to be.
Excellent.
And then get that number and you multiply it by 60 cents is a safe zone. 68 cents, you're pushing it. 67 cents, you're stressed.
I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
So for you, Javier, is 40K the median that you would usually get from a flip? And is that what you're looking for? And then can you tell us what's the lowest and what's the highest you got from doing a flip?
The highest, like about 45K. So the rule of thumb is actually a math formula, believe it or not.
Wow.
It's cash on cash return.
Yes.
Most people who are flipping properties want to get at the minimum like a 15% cash on cash return.
Okay.
All in, if I'm paying 80 for the rehab and I'm paying about 20K for the funding, the private and the hard money or whatever, to get the funding to get the property to work, I'm bringing 80K to the table and I'm paying for all the financing. I'm $100,000 all in. The rule of thumb is to get at the minimum like 15% cash on cash return. So if I'm putting $100,000 in, I need to be getting at the minimum $15,000 in return.
Gotcha.
So 15% cash on cash return is to me, it's a red zone.
And that's why with us at 380, you just did 15,000 times 3, which is 40 to 45K.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yep. So
That's awesome.
the financing is a whole different topic. Like I said, I'm happy to go into it. Like
Like
that's
you
why
said,
I studied finance at VCU.
I think this is a great way to break it up. Let's do some practice with cookie cutter comping. Then we'll move to some harder comping, just finding the information, and then we'll go into how to break down the numbers.
Yep. So if there's one takeaway, guys, 60 cents to the dollar. If the wholesaler is bringing you in a deal and it's 60 cents to the dollar, remember, like all the variables that we talked about today, that's the risk.
So a good one is 50 cents to the dollar, you're saying?
100%. You can't go wrong with 50 cents to the dollar
Okay.
and not go wrong.
Or a flip, guys.
This is for a flip. Yes.
Hey, I
Um,
have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So 50 cents to the dollar, that's including the renovation? I'm sorry, I'm driving, so I can't see anything on the screen. I'm just listening. But does that include renovation or just the cost? What exactly are you referencing there with the 50 cents to the dollar?
50 cents to the dollar will be a full gut rehab. So
Okay.
a full gut rehab would be
Major systems.
2,800 square feet full gut rehab. Everything
So
mold.
okay. Okay, I think I got it.
Perfect. And we'll keep going over this and kind of really clarifying each different type. If it's just a medium rehab, if it's a light rehab, so Javier can show you the difference. But I do have to jump to a 10 o'clock multifamily call, guys. This has been great. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you, Javier.
I appreciate you guys. Take care and just call us if you have questions.
Yep, so much information.
All right, love you guys. Take care. Bye.
Love ya.